She sat alone every morning, her eyes fixed on the same untouched cup of coffee, as if waiting for it to speak first. The world around her moved in easy rhythm, but she remained still, silent, self-contained, hiding behind lowered lashes and polite half-smiles. He noticed her before he meant to. Something about her quietness drew him in, the way she seemed to exist in her own fragile orbit. She wasn't lonely in the obvious sense, she was restrained, like someone afraid of being seen. The first time he spoke to her, it was by accident. Her notebook slipped from the table, papers scattering. When he bent to help, their fingers brushed. She froze, mumbled a soft "thank you," and took the notebook without looking up. That's when he saw it, gold glinting beneath the neckline of her blouse. A ring suspended by a thin chain, resting close to her heart. He wondered who it belonged to. Was she widowed? Married to someone far away? Or was it a promise she could no longer bear to wear on her hand? The question lingered in his mind long after she left, her perfume faint in the air like a memory he hadn't earned. The next day, he looked for her without meaning to. When she walked in, he pretended to glance casually, but his attention betrayed him. She didn't speak. She never did. Yet, in her silence, there was something loud, something aching. He didn't know her story, only that her eyes carried both love and loss. And when light caught the ring again, he realized it wasn't just jewelry, it was a confession she never voiced. He didn't know why, but he wanted to be the one she finally spoke to. Days passed, and her silence began to soften. It started with a simple nod when their eyes met, then a quiet, "good morning." He responded gently, careful not to startle the fragile peace between them. Over time, words replaced glances, and glances lingered longer than they should have. Her name was Elena, soft on the tongue, hesitant like her voice. He was Noah. Their conversations began with harmless things, books she liked, the weather, the taste of bitter coffee. But beneath every word lived something neither dared to name. He asked about the ring once, trying to sound casual. Her fingers instinctively brushed against it, her eyes flickering with something close to pain. "It's my husband's," she said. "He's overseas. Work keeps him away." She smiled faintly, as if to convince herself it was fine. "Distance makes things quieter," she added, and he understood she wasn't talking about miles. Their talks grew longer, softer, more intimate in tone though never in touch. She began to laugh, quietly at first, then freely, as if remembering how. He found himself waiting for that sound each day, a melody he couldn't resist. But in every laugh, he saw the ring glint, a reminder of what wasn't his to reach for. Still, he stayed. She didn't ask him to, but her eyes did. The space between them tightened with every shared story, every silence that felt too heavy to ignore. They told themselves it was friendship, comfort, understanding. Yet both knew it was more, a quiet crossing of a line neither would admit existed. And though her words were careful, her pauses said everything. He realized he was falling for a woman already claimed by someone who had simply stopped showing up. It happened on a night when the air felt heavy, and words weighed more than silence. She arrived looking different, tired, uncertain, carrying something invisible on her shoulders. He could sense it before she spoke. Her usual calm had cracked, and the mask she wore every day was gone. For the first time, she let him see her without restraint. Her voice broke when she said, "I don't even know if he remembers who I am anymore." The confession was soft, but final, as if she'd been holding it in for years. He didn't answer immediately. There was nothing to say that wouldn't sound like permission. She kept talking, words tumbling out in fragments, nights alone, missed calls, anniversaries spent in silence. "I keep wearing his ring," she whispered, "so I don't forget I used to matter to someone." Her hand trembled as she touched the chain. He reached out, not to claim her, but to steady her shaking fingers. Their eyes met, and something unspoken passed between them, shared loneliness disguised as comfort. She should have pulled away. So should he. But neither did. The distance that once felt safe vanished in an instant. Her hand slipped from the necklace, and for a moment, the ring no longer touched her skin. The kiss wasn't planned. It wasn't wild or reckless. It was quiet, fragile, and painfully real. a moment born out of everything they hadn't said. When it ended, she stared at him as if waking from a dream she wasn't supposed to have. Then came the guilt, flooding faster than breath. "He still calls me every night," she murmured, eyes glistening. She picked up the ring, slipped it back on the chain, and turned away. He didn't try to stop her. Some truths can't be followed. Days turned into weeks, and the silence she left behind grew louder than any goodbye. He went back each morning, half expecting her to appear, half hoping she wouldn't. The memory of that night replayed in fragments, the look in her eyes, the taste of regret, the sound of her voice when she said he still called. It wasn't the kiss that haunted him, it was the truth behind it. She hadn't wanted to betray anyone. She'd only wanted to remember what it felt like to be seen. When she finally returned, she looked lighter, as if she had made peace with something. The necklace still hung around her neck, but the ring was gone. She caught his eyes and smiled, not shy this time, just sad. "He's coming home," she said softly. It was both a statement and a farewell. He nodded once, understanding that this was the end, not a cruel one, but the kind that leaves you grateful for what almost was. Neither spoke of what happened. There was no need. It lived between them, quiet and unchangeable, like a photograph left to fade. He wanted to ask if she was happy, but he already knew the answer. Some loves aren't meant to last. They're meant to remind us that we can still feel. As she walked away, the light caught the bare chain around her neck. It shimmered faintly before disappearing beneath her collar, like the echo of something sacred and forbidden. He watched until she was gone, then looked at the empty chair where she used to sit. The cup she once held had cooled long ago. Still, he stayed for a while, because endings, when honest, deserve to be felt before they're forgotten.